we'll have a prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pray with me. Lord, we come to you so thankful for the many blessings that you've given us. Thank you for this country that we live in and for this community that we serve. Please be with each and every board member tonight. Give us wisdom as we set policy and make decisions for this district. May we always act in the best interest of the students and the staff. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Next item, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Note that we do have a quorum present. The agenda was posted in timely fashion. Next item on the agenda is recognition of students of the month. In the board conference room, if the board will come forward, recognize those students.
All right, Miss Howell, you're up.
Yep, my crew. Okay, so we're going to start with the 5th graders so they can kind of show the younger ones what to do. So this is actually 4-6 weeks soaring cardinals. We kind of split them in half. So we're going to start with 4-6 weeks from Miss Frost's class in 5th grade is Megan Pemberton. She is very cooperative. She has a smile that lights up the room. She always gets along well with her peers. Fifth grade, Miss Bullock's room is Lily Watson. Bullock said she's kind, she's a great friend, she's a model student, and a soaring cardinal. Miss Hudgens chose Brinley Mendez. Brinley is a great listener and has asks very good questions in class. Then in 4th grade for Miss Land's class, we have Olivia Walraven. She says Olivia is a wonderful, hardworking young lady who is always willing to give her best. That includes her relationship with her friends. She's spirited, funny, lively, and loving. She has a quick and easy smile and brightens up every classroom she enters. That is why she chose her as a soaring cardinal. Then in fourth grade, Miss Gaines' class is Heaven Ross. She said she is kind, helpful, and a wonderful student, and absolutely a soaring cardinal. Then in 3rd grade, in Miss Westbrook's class, we have Macy Gunther. Very hard worker. She is kind to everyone, always a smile on her face, and she is a joy to have in her classroom. Also in Miss Westbrook's class, we have Bryson Pittman. She said Bryson is a great student. He works very hard. He takes pride in his work, and he is a joy to teach. Then, in Miss Wyndham's 3rd grade class, we have Grace Brewer. Grace is an excellent student. She is a leader, goal-driven, and always engaged to learn new things. In Miss Wyndham's class, we also have Miles Murphy. Miles is a very respectful young man and works very hard every day. He shows kindness to everyone and is a true pleasure to teach. Miss Norris's second grade class, we have Cass Lamb. She said, Cass is an excellent student. He does his best, is a great friend to his classmates, and is truly a pleasure to teach. Also in Miss Norris's second grade class, we have Rory Hamilton. She says Rory is such a sweetheart. Her smile lights up the room. She works very hard in class and is always so kind to her classmates. And I think the two from Miss Epperson's class are not here. I just want to make sure. Gracie Seals and Aubrey Jo Peace. Okay. And then we have Miss Turner's kindergarten class. We have Braxton Poutique. She says he is kind to his peers, does his best work on assignments, is goofy, and loves to make everyone laugh, and a delight to have in class. And then, last but not least, we have our staff member of the month, and this is Miss Stacy Pack. She's come back to her classroom, and she has just jumped in head first, and she said, okay, I'm going to do all these things with my students, and she's gained a few new students, and so she's just taken all of them in, and she does a wonderful job.
Thank you. Next we'll have our secondary, Mr. Wyndham, and then once that's over, parents, y'all are more than welcome to stay, or we'll get you a picture, and then y'all are more than welcome to stay or leave. Mr. Wyndham, go ahead.
All righty. First, I'm going to start off with my sixth grade student of the month. Excuse me. This student and me, we get to talk a lot throughout the day. I call him a little prankster. He makes me smile. He's funny. I love messing with him. He's a smart kid as well. I've seen him be extra kind and open doors and do a lot of good things. So I am really proud of him. Sixth grade student of the month, Miller Colvin.
Got a stronger grip than you. Pretty good handshake.
I'm happy that this one was able to come. She had a soccer game that we were worried about her having to be at, which she is very in love with the sport of soccer, so I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway, the student that is going to be our seventh grade student of the month is Rachel Lloyd.
Congratulations.
And I should say, one of the fastest girls in her grade.
Our eighth grade student of the month, by this time when they hit eighth grade, I've got to learn and watch them grow. And I can tell you right now, this young lady has grown tremendously over the last 3 years. She is becoming a beautiful young woman. She is intelligent, she's being kind, and I'm really just appreciating her help with all the other kids around. Miss Caitlin Hilton.
Good job. Good job, Miss Hilton.
Good job. Good job. Congratulations. Good job.
My ninth grade student of the month is someone that I have gotten to know for a long time here. I've gotten to drive the bus and she rides with me. We talk daily because her classes seem to always be over there by my office. I got to watch her grow over the years, and I've been very proud of her. Today she got to win some medals as well. But today, this evening I should say, she gets to win Student of the Month, and it's Miss Abby Rogers. 10th grade student of the month is a young man who has really impressed me this year. Not only did we know that he's extremely intelligent, but he has really started shining in the athletic fields. He came out and started learning how to kick for us, and I've been very proud of him. Mr. Aiden Fothergill. Our 11th grade student of the month has been someone that I tease a little bit sometimes, and I'll call her the wrong name even though I know who she really is. But I do really appreciate everything she does. She does so much more than what a lot of people know about. She has just been incredible down at band, and not only there, but just helping out around campus. Volunteering to do things when no one else is kind of staying around. She does the unseen things that make the school work for a student. Miss Kayla Gray.
Good job. Good job. Congratulations.
My senior student of the month is definitely one that I wish we could have back, and if his mom and dad would have done it right, we could have. I'm not going to tease him too much about that. He is a very young senior, but when you talk about growth and turning into an unbelievable young man, I can't tell you how proud I am of him, just not only on the football field, but academically, social, emotionally. He has been a standout, and just some of the things with the esports that he's doing, it's been really cool to get to watch. My senior student of the month, Brandon Osborne.
Congratulations.
Good job, Brandon. Congratulations, Brandon.
My staff member of the month, when I first got her over here, I was going to be real honest with you, I was kind of intimidated by her because I heard like how good she was. I was like, I don't know if I can do a whole lot with her and help her, but I'll tell you this, she's made the adjustment really easy for me and for her. Our kids absolutely love her. Sometimes they get challenged a little bit, they hate that, but in the long run, they find out how much that she really cares about each and every one of them. So I'm extremely happy to have her come over here. She is big in the community as well, and so that also helps. Miss Leanne Allison.
Which one are you going to give me, a hug or a handshake? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have one more. So we had, in kindergarten in Miss Stewart's class, we have Silas Wharton. Miss Stewart said he's such a sweet young man who is a friend to everyone. He works hard and is always happy to help others in the classroom.
Light, we'd just like to step out here in front of the crest over here in the hallway. We'll do elementary first, and then we'll do the middle school and the high school second. And then if we can, we'd like to try to see if we can get everybody squished in there.
Ready? Well, next item is public comments. Having no one signed up, we'll move on. Communications.
No, sir.
Having none. Consent agenda, we have the minutes of the March 16th regular meeting, monthly financial report, amendment to the 22-23 budget and tax rate calendar for 23, 24 instructional material allotment, and tech certification, staff development minutes waiver, and occupational therapy service agreement for 23-24 school year, and the detention services interlocal cooperation agreement with Bowie County. Does any board member have any item they want pulled or want to discuss? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion by Terry, we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ryan, all in favor, raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. Next item is annual review and approve resolution regarding investment policy and strategies.
Sorry, I got off. So every year we need to approve our investment policy and strategies. This is a resolution to do so. It basically says that we will follow all the investment rules we must, which is pretty well, we can put money in savings account and or CDs. Is that pretty close, Tommy?
Pretty close.
All right. So the policy is the same, just updated the dates.
Anybody have any discussion, questions?
What's our CD rates right now we're getting?
We just pulled in, we were just over 4.
Yeah.
When we did that back in December, we renewed. I think it was,
I think now our checking account is drawing more than our CD, because CD was put in December. Since the first of the year, the checking account's just continued to go up.
so if you look at the investment reports, you can see the interest increase is dramatic from what we have seen. So you've got that report in there that'll show you kind of the monthly interest that we're pulling, but it's 4%, just over 4% in that, and then our actual savings account that Farmers has given us gives better than what the CDs have. So we've kept most of our money in that checking account rather than the CD, but we've got the one CD at Guarantee, is that correct?
It's really considered an emergency fund.
Advantage of the CD, at least you got the rate locked in. The checking could go the other
Yeah,
direction.
the checking had been much lower. Of course, CD has too. Checking had been much lower.
So that one CD's got, I think we had 240,000. We planned it out, we can't go more than 250 because of the FDIC, so we planned it out where we would get the max interest in that, kind of max out what we could.
A lot better than the .5s. Huh? Unfortunately, it's because of inflation. All right, any other questions? We have a motion to approve the resolution regarding the investment policy and strategies.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Terry, have a second?
Second.
Second by Ryan, all in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next item is information items, principals report, and athletic director report.
So you have your board report in front of you. The attendance, you can see that we're actually up 5 students from last year. And actually today we had an enrollment for first grade. So we're now sitting at 21 in one class and 20 in another in first grade. So we're up enrollment. We recognized our attendance percentage. We've gotten a little bit better than the last couple of months. I feel like we haven't had as much sickness, maybe fingers crossed on that piece of it. We recognized our students and our teacher of the month. So some things to spotlight, we have some hands-on learning going on. It's the best way to learn. Miss Gaines, 5th grade science, they were dissecting owl pellets. And so they were identifying bones from owl pellets, yes. So there's some pictures of what they were doing. We have a student in pre-K who has actually completed all of his kindergarten sight words. So he has started like checking out AR books and stuff, so he's going to go on the extra mile, and that's Zane Arredondo. And then we've celebrated Paraprofessionals and Librarian Day, and so we've highlighted those ladies as well. So that's Miss Gordon, Miss Ragland, Miss Dumont, Miss Osborne, and Miss Kite. Then we celebrated Mr. Raymond's 60th birthday, and even all the kids wore a color and had shirts. Even one of them said something about like everybody loves Raymond. Anyway, it was fun. Everybody enjoyed it, and we had some cake. Then we closed up our readathon. We kind of talked about that. We had some nightly challenges where it's like take a picture when you reading, in the car or reading with a hat on. And so our 2 students, Declan and Sloan Kerrigan, won those nightly challenges. They won gift cards to Books A Million. Then we had our 2 students who raised the most money, and read the most minutes. So Britt Hawkins read the most minutes, and Tegan Sino raised the most money. And they both got gift cards to Books A Million. Then we had our gaming truck come we did like a little change fundraiser during the book fair. And so we had the gaming truck come, and all the students, every grade, pre-K through 5th grade, got to play on the gaming truck. Or as you can see, they also brought like cornhole and other like yard games that they could play during their time. And then lastly, we did some dress-up days for child abuse awareness. And so we had like twin day, and like they wore neon one day. And so there's different days, dress-up days, when we were making students aware of child abuse. And then upcoming events for May and April, you can see there's a really long list. We've got STAR testing. We have our first STAR test for 3rd through 5th grade is next Tuesday. We have a pre-K field trip on the 28th. On the 2nd, we have the Science STAR test for 5th grade. Then we have our 1st grade field trip on the 5th. On the 8th, we have kindergarten and 2nd grade field trip there together. And we have Kona Ice coming that day. On May the 9th, we have Math STAR test for 3rd and 5th grade. And then on the 10th, we have the 4th grade math. And 3rd grade is going to go on their field trip that day. On the 11th, we have 5th grade base graduation. And then we have May the 12th is our field day for the whole campus. And then on the 15th, our AR readers or leaders, they will take a trip to iJump. And May 16th, our 4th and 5th grade students will go on a field trip. I think one of them's going to the Mid-America Museum, and then the other one's going to like a crystal mine that's around the Hot Springs area. 17th, we have our end of the year awards for pre-K through 2nd grade. And then on the 18th, we're going to have our end of the year awards for 3rd through 5th grade. And it's the last day of school. And then on the 19th is a staff prep day, and that's going to be our end of the year breakfast. Y'all have any questions?
Busy time.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Busy time right here. Thank you,
Busy
ma'am.
time.
Going through our middle school, high school enrollment, our attendance is pretty steady. We're pretty close to being the exact same as where we were last time. We actually went up a couple of 0.05s or something like that overall. But as a whole group or whatever, we really haven't lost a lot of enrollment. From Christmas time, we've pretty much stayed pretty steady, just 1 or 2 here or there. Overall, things that are coming up or things that are being highlighted for us are that we're starting our senior spotlights this week. You should start seeing a couple of them at a time or a couple at a day coming up until we get to the end of the year. Some other things we have coming up, or we still are doing right now, is that Emma Fothergill, Ethan Fothergill, Micah Bishop, Chayton Noel, Gracie McMillan, and Braylon Bush were going to the regional academic meet tomorrow. We're very proud of those 6 students. We feel really good about a couple of those events and possibly advancing into the state area round. Mr. Barron today left as soon as school was out, headed down to Wichita Falls for their 2nd welding competition. They already did one in Marshall a week or so ago, and our kids got a lot of experience with that, so they're really kind of fired up about this next one. We took those same welding kids along with several others that we've been doing ag mech shows with, Houston Livestock Rodeo, Fort Worth, areas like that, and they got to go tour Leadwell. Mr. and Mrs. Leadwell came out to meet our kids because they were extremely excited to meet them after what they heard last year, and they, on point there at the site, offered several of our kids jobs as soon as they graduate. And we're not talking about $8, we're talking start off bare minimum 15 with a possibility before the end of the summer hitting the 18 range. They're very fired up about our kids. They said our kids showed unbelievable manners, respect,
and willingness to go do something that others weren't willing to do. They're very fired up about our kids. They love to see their projects that they brought with them, as far as in photo album type stuff. So it's been a really good deal for our kids to have that piece in the community that they can reach out to. A couple other things that are going on. Our fishing team of Graham Hawkins and Wade Pippin received 4th place out of a total of 100 anglers in this year's competition. They'll be awarded a scholarship at the Bass Classic that's coming up this next month. We do not know the exact amount yet, but last year in 15th, I think they got $1,500 each or something like that. And this coming one being in 4th place, they're thinking that they are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of around 8 or so each. Not exactly that much, but possibly somewhere in that range. Could be 10, could be 6. So they're pretty fired up about it. Not real sure yet. But they have done an unbelievable job. Our Special Olympics group, which you saw one of my students come up with her medals on today, she was very fired up and proud of them. They got to go to the trip this morning for Special Olympics. We had several kids that volunteered to help, lots of adults that wanted to come help. Turned out to be a real good deal for our kids. One of them was really fired up about his shot put first place medal. He was excited about that, so it was good to see. The band students participated in a solo ensemble contest at Gilmer High School and came back with several recognitions. Several of our art students went to an exhibit in Oklahoma to show off some of the work that they put out. They are those kids that you don't get to have that opportunity very much, and so it was really nice for them to be able to showcase what they can do. They are extremely talented. Group of individuals. I couldn't draw a cat if I had to, so it was pretty impressive to see what they do. And of course, like Ms. Howell talked about, we participated in the Child Abuse Awareness Week and Prevention Week. You'll see there a couple of our kids that are in the blue. Things that we have coming up, we have prom coming up on April 29th, that the Elk Meadow Lodge at 7:30, high school awards on the 3rd, junior high awards on the 4th during the day at 1:30. The baccalaureate's coming up on the 14th at 6 p.m. in the cafeteria. Senior awards on the 16th in the cafeteria, in the gym at 6 p.m. And then graduation will be in the gym as well at 7 o'clock. So we got a lot coming up. There's quite a few things I left off, like the ag banquet on the 15th and things like that. So there is a lot going on right now. Any questions, anybody? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. The boys golf team won the district, qualified for the regionals. They just got back, I guess, Wednesday from that. The girls team was the runner-up at the district. They also qualified, and Rip Thomas was second overall in the tournament. And so had our boys not have qualified, he would have qualified for the regional. So we're very proud of them. Softball senior night was tonight, the start of it, and then it got postponed because of lightning. So we will let you know when that is being made up. But the senior night portion was taken care of tonight. Baseball is currently tied for the district lead with 2 games to go. We play Rivercrest Friday night at home, and we have senior night April 25th versus McLeod, also at home. Track area, girls track qualifiers: Hannah Rainey, Amy Hill, Janie Reed. Boys area qualifiers: Rip Thomas, Casey Levitt, Landon Call, Cyrus Palmore, Jaden Munoz, Aiden Fothergill, and Lane Soltz. And then the regional track qualifiers were our 4x1 team and our 2 triple jumpers, a long jumper, and a shot putter. We'll be having athletic physicals next Friday, April 28th at Mall. The cost is $10 per student, and it's not on there, but our athletic banquet is May the 9th at 6 p.m. in the gym. You got anything?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the discussion and approval of the food service equipment, mixer and freezer.
We've got, after we got our audit back from TDA, we had some equipment that needed to be replaced, and we have money that we need to spend out of that fund balance. There's 2 items. Mr. Van Deaver was able to contact and take bids, and then was able to kind of negotiate them down. We've got 2 to recommend tonight from Phillips & Sons Refrigeration here in Texarkana. The mixer is $19,391. The freezer is $38,0580, and the total is $23,195.05. So we originally thought this was going to be over the 25, but we negotiated down a little bit and it came in under. But we'd like to go ahead and offer that for approval. If we do build new cafeteria, all this equipment would go over. It's not locked into the current one that we have. The mixer we've got is 20-something years old and in bad shape. Yeah, it's old and needs to be replaced. The freezer we've got in there currently, the walk-in freezer's not big enough, so we've had to bring in another freezer, and what they put in there at some point was a residential freezer that's frosted up. So our last kitchen inspection, that was noted that we had frost in that freezer, so this would be a frost-free commercial freezer that would give her more space. So, but we do recommend purchasing both of these items. And that will come out of the kitchen fund balance.
They can
which we
only
need
be
to
used.
spend, it can only be used for the kitchen, and we've been told we need to spend it.
I make a motion that we spend the money on the stuff that you just said.
On a mixer and freezer.
Sounds wonderful.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Who made the second?
Gap?
Okay, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Discussion of monetize these property values and foundation school program funding.
Mr. Van Deeber has got a quick presentation. Y'all should have at your desk a PowerPoint, but Mr. Van Deeber has prepared this for you.
We have a printout of the slides that are going to be on the screen. This is a discussion of our property values and funding. It's a required step as we begin our 23-24 budget. And so this, tonight, I guess, begins the long grind to get that budget out. This presentation was originally required to address the lag between local property valuations and our receipt of state funds, because the state was using prior year values in those state funding calculations. Beginning in years 1920, House Bill 3 roll that forward, and so the certified values for July will be used to calculate our state funding. There is no lag. So we'll just take this opportunity to discuss the trend in our taxable values and estimated levies for the current year. Also, as far as our state funding, it's pretty much in limbo because the legislature is in session. They did pass, the House passed their budget bill last week. It does have an increase in our state funding in there. It also has a restriction that state funds will not be used for private schools. There will be no vouchers. And so they're expecting a fight with that budget when it goes to, it's not going to come back from the Senate looking like that. And so for that reason, we really don't know what we're going to wind up with yet. I think we'll have a clearer picture in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but I don't think we're going to have any less money, but I don't know how much more we're going to get. The chart that you'll see there shows our taxable value history. It's just pretty much a straight line of a steady increase. Our values increased from, the next slide, yeah, shows the values. Last year, our final values were $86,900,000. The estimate that we have right now for 23 is $95,600,000. I don't have numbers yet that will tie that to how much is new property and how much of it is increase in appraisals, but appraisal notices will be going out in the next 30 days, and probably many of you will see how that affected you, but they're out. But our values are going to increase about $9 million. From last year to this year. We have frozen values there of 16 million, 17 million. Our taxable value for next year is going to be almost 78 million. Currently, our maximum compressed rate is going to be 0.9829, which is going to be a little less than what it was last year. And that's something that could really change coming out of the legislature. There's a lot of pressure to decrease property taxes. And there's some discussions that the rate's going to drop Again, there's some discussion of increasing the, like homestead exemptions and other exemptions to higher numbers. Don't know yet where that's coming from.
Both houses are really trying to push reducing taxes. One is an M&O, just tax compression. One gets a little more complicated. They're also looking at increasing homestead exemptions possibly. We won't know that till these budgets are passed, but I do think, we believe that there is a strong push for tax rate and overall tax reduction.
You can see at the bottom for where we are right now, our levy, our total, is going to go from $834,000 for this year up to $885,000 for next year. We'll probably not have necessarily that much additional money to spend because as our tax collections increase, our state money dives off on the other end. We will have more money, or should have more money, but we're not going to benefit $60,000 from these increased values. Any questions? That's the first step of many.
We receive no direct benefit from property values going up, correct?
Very little. We'll see some, but, and again, that's going to kind of depend on what comes out of the legislature too. Under the current funding structure, we will lose some state money due to increased values.
As the values go up, the state reduces what we get, and we get about the same money. The only real benefit that increasing property values can give a district would be more on the other side. Instead of M&O, would be more on INS.
Our INS
It
certainly
would
will
reduce
increase.
what you would have to tax to raise money for construction projects.
Thank you.
Any other?
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Discussion on that.
Yes, just discussion.
Item 10, discussion of benchmark results for elementary and junior high.
Ms. Howell, you want to come on up? We've completed benchmark testing for this school year. I think she's got her stuff with her, and the other ones were the kind of high school, but she's going to give us a brief presentation of kind of what our elementary benchmarks look like.
Yes, so just keeping in mind that this is our first year of online, so there's definitely some nerves with, teachers and students, but we were given on January the 20th. Some of the TEKS that were on the benchmark had not been covered at that time, but since then, we have covered all of the TEKS that are needing to be covered for the STAR test. So we do feel good. They did feel good about where we were at when the benchmarks came out. Some strengths that we've seen were, like in math, we've seen they did well with real-world relationships, decomposing numbers, composing numbers, classifying two-dimensional figures. Some of the strengths with reading were like analyzing plot elements and using context clues. The weakness, we knew pretty quick because the new STAR redesign, this is their first year, they have put where every reading test is going to have some form of open response answer. So there's no longer the writing test in 4th grade. Every 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade reading test will have some sort of open response. Some of them may be like a short constructed response, and then others will be like an extended response. And so writing, I will say, is one of the things that we know is our weakness. Some things that we've done to address that, for that weakness, is our reading, and not only our math and our science have adopted the 10-day lead forward review. So what that is they target the most highly tested TEKS, and in reading they target some of the writing pieces, and they do 10 days of review that are real hard and heavy right before their test. But we also have purchased Cirrus Education Solutions, and so what this is this is an online program that has some practice questions that are in the new redesigned format, but then also the multiple choice format. So students have been using the Cirrus Education Solutions in class as well to have some practice on those types of questions. Because not are they only just open answer, we have some that are like where you have to go in and type an answer, or you have to pick from a drop down, or you have to drag and drop them. So we've been making sure that all of our students understand how to navigate that as well. So we have been addressing the writing and trying to get there, and we've been doing that all year. Our Amplify curriculum helps with that as well. They have open-ended questions, but we know that writing is the piece that everybody's a little nervous about, but we feel like that we've prepared them, the students, as best as we can and given them all the tools that we can to succeed. Any questions?
Overall, you feel, you met with your teachers, y'all went through your benchmarks, where do we feel like we are this year?
I mean, overall, they feel good. You know, every year they always kind of say, well, oh, we should be, you know, but I think they feel good about where they're at. They are a little bit nervous about the new redesign and how will that affect what they've seen previously, like how their scores have been previously on the STAR. But I think they feel like that we've prepared our students, because we've done unit assessments that are in that format. We've done this benchmark that's in the format. That Cirrus also has practice tests and questions, so we've tried to expose them as best we can to that, the style that it's going to be that we know of. So
Overall, we feel like our results came in good throughout elementary. Certainly this year is going to be different on testing, one being on the computer, and then two, how they're being asked questions.
Yeah.
It's like anything, we expect overall that we may not perform as well once STAR comes because it's new. But I feel like our teachers and folks will learn it and we'll continue to get better.
Right.
So we hope that we'll do just as well as we have been, but there's certainly a real possibility that this test will be harder. Certainly not only in the format, but in the accountabilities. But
Right.
overall, with the new curriculum, our teachers do feel like the kids are prepared and ready.
yes. Thank you.
Mr. Wyndham?
Yes, sir. All right. I gave some numbers there just to kind of match up, but I kind of wanted to give you a heads up that, you know, we have done a lot of different things. Of course, the new curriculum that we've had that's there has been really good for us. Also, there are some different styles of testing. So some of the things that we had done in the last couple of years with the mini assessments and tracking them by every 2 weeks and different things like that, the new curriculum doesn't allow us to do it that way, kind of. So what we have done is use the at-bats and the intermittent tests that they're asking us to do, also taking some of the TFAR, different things that they're wanting us to do, and just trying kind of to see all the different styles of tests that they're telling us this is going to look like. One of the last tests that we took, or the second type of benchmark that we took was for English, was in the STAR redesign style that they're asking, or they're projecting that it could possibly look like. And of course, even our teachers hadn't seen what it looked like, and we still tried to go out in there and take those tests and see what that would come out and look like. With our teachers, talking to them, I have talked to them and asked them kind of, this is what I'm seeing, what are you feeling like? Through our meetings, me and Ms. Brower have met with them. They feel like there are a few things that could be a little different, you know, from the way they've laid it out in the past, as far as the revising and editing and writing pieces of it. But however, the reading, the poetries, things like that, they feel like they're pretty on point with. So since they've taken theirs, and English did theirs early January, February, they have been making adjustments throughout. So there is some big changes, I think, that we'll see come up in the next week or so. Math, science, they just got finished taking their benchmarks a couple weeks ago before the break. And you'll see that they're on point with some of the changes that we've made. As Ms. Howe said, the Cirrus, we've started using that with our English teachers as well, and they feel really confident about it. And they've even said, I wish we would have started this around October or November. This is really good stuff. So they've been excited about it. They see some change. Although the numbers may not look like it on the paper, but I did want to kind of give you a heads up where our teachers are at right now with it. There has been some dragging of the feet, just like any time you change some things, but they have stuck to what has been asked of them. So we're very proud of them for that, as far as with the new curriculum, trying to implement it, trying to find a way to make it fit their style as well, and learning the new system of the computer and how it works. Some of the big things is learning how to use the headphones and learning how to type and do different things with the new online program style. So, any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I'm not sure I'm understanding this. So
Yes,
let's
sir.
look at the 8th grade reading.
Yes, sir.
So benchmark, local 2022, state 2022. What exactly are we comparing? Is this our
That was the
benchmark
actual
versus
test.
the area benchmark?
That was our test from local and state, and then that is what our
Our
reading
test.
benchmark was earlier on.
when we first started.
So the local and state is the STAR test, the actual
Yes,
STAR test?
from last year, yes, sir.
Not the benchmark from last year. And the benchmark is now.
Now, yes, trying to learn how to use the system, and that was early in the year, so, yeah.
We certainly
It's changed quite a bit
use that
since
data,
then.
once we see it, that it shows that what, especially those early benchmarks of this year, the change in program system and what we're doing, that we had to go back and start working on some other stuff. So they certainly put them in some tutorials, and we've changed a few things in the
Absolutely.
classroom. Particularly if you look overall in that, most of our grades, other than reading, are fairly similar. But there's obviously some big changes in our reading with open response, questions in writing, not just the multiple choice. So certainly what the benchmark does for us is it shows where we need to work, where we're not doing well, and how we can go back and start learning. So both of those are not just what our teachers may be doing, but also some of what the kids would be doing.
And I'll tell you that some of the things, when we did our benchmarking, there was a high stress on taking the easy outs. I want the easy questions out of the way. Put us in the hardest position you can put us in. Strictly because we don't know what we're going to see when we get there. We kind of now, as the year has been going on, kind of have a better idea of what we're going to look at. But when we first started doing these, we weren't real sure exactly what we were going to see. So we tried to take the easy parts out and let's put the rigor in. Let's make it hard on ourselves. Let's see what we have to do to overcome some obstacles. Let's see how the kids respond. It's kind of like back when I coached. I coached as hard as I could in practice because I wanted the day the game came to be really easy. So it's just that mentality of it.
So certainly we see some good things out of this and know that we've got some areas that we've had to focus on.
Absolutely.
But wanted to give y'all an idea of kind of what we've done and where we are and how we're moving forward with it.
Just my last question I have, do they normally score as well on the benchmark as they do the STAR? Is it usually a pretty good?
Typically, especially
Pretty good
earlier,
discrepancy.
you'll see some. This one's a little bit more than typical. What we've seen in the past when we've done these is we may get a 50 to 60% passing rate on a benchmark and then turn around and be in that 80% once we take the real test. So, there was a couple concerning numbers that were way lower than what we'd anticipated. But again, being early on, new test, some new things are going. So teachers are working on it.
Yes,
We've got a plan to
absolutely.
put that in place.
It's been amazing how
Outside
many
of the
kids are coming
reading,
in for
I think,
tutorials.
outside of the reading sections, everything else looks like it's been pretty much on point from where we had been.
Some of the sections, though, I noticed, benchmarks are real good.
Yes, actually, yeah, not too bad. Like I said, math and science, we took a little bit later, where we kind of knew a little bit more about what we
Later
would
in
see
the
on
year?
tests.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, got it.
later in the year. And so we kind of knew exactly what we would see, how that style of testing would be taking place. So it kind of made it a little bit easier on our kids and our teachers as well. Like I said, those English ones were a little bit earlier, so it was a little bit more of, we were playing a little bit more of a guessing game with it to some degree. But at the same time, again, I was trying to do not make it easy, make it hard. Make it as hard as you can find a way to make it hard. Because I do want us to be challenged. Maybe it scares the kids to be serious about it. I want them to push. So that's where we were at with it.
Expecting much better numbers when we get this.
Yes, we should see much better numbers, especially now that, like I said, we've seen what the STAR redesign looks like, we've seen what the Cirrus looks like, and what it's providing for us. Miss Baskin has been overwhelmingly happy about the Cirrus stuff. It's just, she's like, I wish I could have used these, the whole year. There's so much information here, and it's directly like what we were doing on the test. And she's just been fired up about it. Miss Litchfield's been good with it. Miss Fothergill's been happy about it. So I think we're going to see a lot of good numbers come up from there. A lot of kids in tutorials every day right now.
And we're not going to get these test results till well after the school year's over. Is that what I'm saying, right?
Unfortunately, probably if we're lucky, before the summer's out. It's just kind of a deal.
It's going to be
with the
different
online.
for us this year. Like I said, we certainly anticipate some changes just with the changes in
Yep.
this, but
We will get some
we're
preliminaries.
working on it and making sure we get to where we need to be.
For the
Absolutely, thank you.
next time, let's discuss P-TECH designation and planning year.
All right, we got our notification from TEA Back for our Collegiate Edu Network and the CEN program. The first step of that was to get designation, what is called P-TECH. We've been approved for a planning year, so we've started meeting with both TEA and will be assigned to a Collegiate Edu Network consultant, basically, that's going to help us begin for all of next year to begin planning all of the moving parts that we will have as we move forward to offering the increase in dual credit associate's degrees and all that. So that was for step one, was to be approved, so we have been approved. We started having our first meetings. I got notification today that we have been approved for the Collegiate Edu Network, and we will start those planning meetings really now through the summer and through all of next year. But just wanted to kind of come back and give you an update of where that was. Oh, go ahead.
All right, next item is number 12, update on shared service arrangements.
So for our special ed cooperative, we talked about before, Liberty ILO has pulled out of the Tri-District SSA. We are in talks with Redwater. We have a tentative contract and working through budgets, and you guys should be seeing more of that coming up in May as far as finalizing that agreement. But that is what our plan is for next year. They've started posting and looking at hiring positions. But next month we should have what it's going to cost us. We do predict it will cost more, going from 3 schools to 2. I don't know the exact number of what that'll be, but want to just kind of give you an update that will be coming probably next month.
Yeah. Discussion of the safety and security audit.
Trying to find it now. All right, here's a copy of our safety and security audit. The audit cycle is every 3 years. We have been getting safety audits every 2 years. Our next one will be next fall as this cycle ends. Oh, you got one more? This was actually done September 27th of 2021. I won't go through all of this, but in essence, when they came through the district, they look at, can they get in the building? How do we communicate emergencies? They look at our drill logs. They look at our emergency procedures. They talk to principals. They talk to teachers to see if they know what is going on. They felt like we did all of that very well. We passed, and the entire audit, the only recommendation they had is they found a key in an extracurricular bus that was down by the gym. So we have a recommendation of not leaving keys in buses. Outside of that, everything else, they felt like we did very well, and they had documentation documentation of all required safety procedures. This does not have any of the new stuff, so this was done before our new security. We are in line at some point early next year to have our next safety audit.
One comment on that, I thought it was interesting. I was watching the Channel 12 news the other night, and they were talking about some of the things that's happened in schools, and there was a big presentation on this new AI software that can actually recognize a gun. And it was really cool to see we were on the cutting edge of that.
We have been. We have certainly it's been in place. We've gotten a couple of notifications, and again, we verify those to make sure that they are accurate. But that has been a good piece. They did complete. Well, I guess I'm coming up with that later. I'll talk about that.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
All right. Done with that one?
Yes, sir.
Number 14, board training hours, April 22 through April 23.
All right. So we will read in, and I've got this little thing I'm going to go through and read these into the record. Unless you just really want to, Milford.
Nope, you're good.
All right. So for board training, for team building, all members have completed the required team building board training in the past year. For additional continuing education, all members have met their additional continuing education requirements.
Good job, Rusty.
Evaluating student academic performance and setting goals is a biannual training. We all went this year, so all members have met this requirement. Identifying, reporting abuse, trafficking, and maltreatment of children. All members have met that requirement. And school safety, the new school safety requirements we had this year, all members have met that, their requirements. All members have met all requirements for the school year, and none exceeded. Ms. Holly, I've got a nice form we can stick right in those minutes.
Next item is the superintendent's report.
All right, high school graduation, I think we've covered May 19th at 7 p.m. We'll have the end of the year's breakfast and service awards. May 19th, Miss Holly, what time do we eat?
8:30.
8:30. Y'all are all invited if you would like. This next paycheck will have our end of the year $500 retention stipend for all employees that will be returning. Overall update on district improvements, they did finish all security film on all doors outside and windows outside of the fence. I did have them come back and quote all doors inside of that would be these glass doors that would be there. Again, that is a entry and ballistic resistant film. As we saw the school shooting there in Tennessee, very quickly we were able to access through those front doors. This will not stop that, but makes it much more difficult to get in. So all of that has been completed. All of the roof repairs that we had ordered have been done, so we'll know in the morning if they worked. I think that is all on update for improvements. Bond election update, we will have early voting starts Monday. Early voting will be from May 24th through May 2nd, and of course election day, May 6th. We've had the questions on voting locations. In Maud, the voting location will be the Church of Christ. For early voting, they can either vote, our citizens can vote at the Church of Christ or at the Bowie County Courthouse in New Boston. And then on election day, there'll be 5 locations. They can vote at the Church of Christ, they can vote in Texarkana, back in New Boston, in Redwater, and I forget there's one more. But those are all posted now on our website, our Bond ISD website, as well as we've been pushing those out on our social media pages. So all of that will start Monday.
All right. We'll go into executive session at 7:35 p.m. because of personnel according to Texas Government Code Section 551.074. Discuss and consider contract recommendations for the following personnel: elementary teachers, middle high school teachers, school nurse, school LVN licensed vocational nurse, part-time coordinator, student services and character education, instructional coach math and reading elementary, and accept resignation and retirement from employees, same Texas Government Code. Go into executive session, take a 5-minute break and reconvene. All right, we're coming out of executive session at 8:25 p.m. Next item on the agenda is consider to take action on personnel contract recommendations. Considering contract recommendation of the following personnel. First one was item A, elementary teachers. We have a motion to renew all elementary teachers as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, I have a second?
Second.
Second by Gap, all in favor, raise your right hand. Passes with 4-4 and 1 abstention. Next, we're going to group together B, middle high school teachers, C, school nurse, D, school LVN, part-time coordinator, student services and character education, and instructional coach math and reading elementary. Do we have a motion to renew those positions as presented?
I'll make so motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Gap. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Next item is consider and take action accepting resignation retirements. The first retirement is Ms. Kitchens. Do we have a motion to accept her retirement?
I'll make the motion to accept Ms. Kitchen's retirement.
We have a motion by Aaron. We have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Terry. All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Next, we have a resignation letter from Coach Birthright. We have a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept resignation of Coach Birthright.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rusty. All in favor? Unanimous. And last, the resignation letter from Coach Higgs. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation letter of Coach Higgs.
Have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rusty. All in favor? Raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. Next is adjournment. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Raise your right hand.
I win.
Unanimous.